No. Oh, now you can hear me. I can hear myself as well. That's great. Um, my name is John O'Dea. Thanks, Dan, for that very interesting presentation. I'm going to tell you something about the Irish tech ecosystem, and I hope you'll find it of interest. Let me see. Does this work? Yes, it does. So maybe you know Ireland, or maybe you don't. It's a small, not as small as Bahrain or not as small as Cyprus, but it's a small country, 5 million population. The largest city is Dublin, 1.2 million people. It's about half the size of Jordan. So that kind of gives you a feel, but it has a really lively tech ecosystem. And yeah, so this my business at Tech Ireland, or my organization, Tech Ireland. It's a not-for-profit organization. When Google came to Ireland, they said there's a very lively tech ecosystem here, but actually the community isn't very well connected, and you really should have a forum for the community to connect, for investors, startups and multinational companies, innovation hubs to connect, and that's essentially what we do. We have a database of the tech community in Ireland, 4,000 profiles of indigenous startups and multinationals and investors and what have you. So that's us. Just to give you a feel for the scale of the ecosystem in Ireland. About 3,000 indigenous tech businesses, 450 multinational tech companies with operations in Ireland, 400 investors, and 312 innovation hubs. So it is quite an active community. This is the breakdown of the sectors, mainly enterprise solutions, health, medical, fintech, entertainment, sports. They would be the main tech businesses in Ireland. So every country, I guess, has a different focus, because I was surprised how significant e-commerce is here in Jordan, and in the various presentations I heard over the last 2 days. Because the domestic market is small, we tend to be more B2B type tech businesses rather than B2C type operations. This just to give you a feel for the kind of funds that Irish indigenous tech business raised last year. 1.6 billion, 300 companies raised that money. You don't have to look at the names here, but if you just look and see in terms of sectors, the largest investments went into health tech, fintech. That kind of gives you a feel for where the focus is. And if you look at on the right there, Dublin, Cork, Dublin. So Dublin is so startup tech in Ireland, and I guess internationally, it's a city-based proposition rather than the main support. Government in Ireland has been very proactive in terms of supporting the tech ecosystem. The government invests about 50 million euros per year into tech, and it does it through this enterprise state organization called Enterprise Ireland, and it essentially puts half the money in to VC funds, and it's a limited partner in most of the VC funds, and it does it very efficiently. It looks for bids to VC funds. So say last year it said we were looking for spin-outs from universities. We'll put up 15 million, and then they went out to VCs and said, how much will you add to that? And they ended up with a 50 million fund for spin-outs for universities and so on. So they look for bids from the private sector to match the state money, but they also do direct seed investments, between 50,000 euros and 250,000 euros. The riskiest part of the spectrum, the view is the state is needed to actually reduce the risk there. So that's Enterprise Ireland. We're very lucky in Ireland in that we have a great collection of multinational companies that have made their home in Ireland. Dublin is a real tech hub. Meta, Google, Airbnb. You see the household names there. They all have their European headquarters in Dublin. So it's a good place for tech. It's a good place to connect with those multinational companies as well. And because we have so many multinationals, because there is a lively tech ecosystem, you have the usual startup accelerators, research centers, and what have you. Conferences, meetups, hackathons, and that sort of thing. So Ireland is quite a tech hub. Not everything is as rosy as it should be. Female entrepreneurship is still lagging. Of the 3,000 Irish tech, indigenous tech businesses, 16% have a female founder. In other words, 84% are all male founders, which is nothing to be too proud of. But we are making significant progress, and the government has put a lot of effort into trying to change that. And that's just the fun. So H1, the first half of the year, over the last 5 years, as it were, in 2018, 19 million euros went into startups with a female founder, and it was much more than that, in the first half of last year. So if the government really puts its focus into changing things, it can actually make it happen, which is promising. But we still believe that there is a huge untapped potential, in encouraging more female founders and female-based female entrepreneurs. In terms of how do we fund our organization, then we're a not-for-profit organization. Essentially, we don't get state support. We have it's a subscription service essentially that's funded by large companies like Google, Meta, Facebook, and what have you, or Twitter and what have you. Maybe not Twitter now. Maybe Twitter has now decided this is a luxury that they might forego. But it's essentially large companies who pay a relatively small subscription, and they can get kind of premium access to the data. But primarily they do it to support the tech ecosystem, because I guess they're interested in a strong tech ecosystem. And then we also produce reports. If you have a large database, you then have the ability to produce reports on different sectors, different regions, and what have you. And we get sponsorship for those publications. So this is it's another model, I suppose, of how to have a tech community, a tech organization that doesn't have to look to government for support, because getting the government to write a check is, certainly in Ireland, is pretty difficult, and I imagine it's the same everywhere else. So we're keen to reach out to other similar countries and organizations. If we can learn from them, or if they can learn from us, or what have you, we're more than willing to, and we want to help grow the tech ecosystem globally. And that's it. I think I've finished now within my 10 minutes. So I think I deserve a clap for that, because yeah. So if you'd like to know more about Ireland or the Irish tech ecosystem, all the information is on our website. It's completely free to use, so you can search for as many companies or what have you as you want, and the more the merrier. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.